Cam, what do you want? What's the topic we were doing today? I
The
remember
topic
reading.
today, I think the topic today is talking about time blocking. Really focusing your time and being productive with that time, being able to kind of make time out of thin air. Because all of us, the truth is, none of us have time, right? We're all busy, but how can you be more productive while you're busy, right? So I think that's going to be the topic. I know a few people are running a little bit late here, but they're going to be getting on. So Gary, if you want to take over, you're welcome to, buddy. Or Craig, if you want to lead it off, go for it.
Craig starting this time.
Who I am? There you go. All right. Bottom line comes down to it is, guys, we've said it before. You can time block, but you got to do it. I was in a conversation with somebody the other day on my podcast, Maria Quattrone, and we were talking about how people take our time and we don't get repaid for it. I was talking yesterday on the radio show with a lawyer, and I said, curiosity, we're in a marketplace that agents are taking listings that are overpriced and they're doing these things and they're wasting time and there's no light at the end of the tunnel and they're spending a lot of activity, but they're not getting paid. I said, do you take lawsuits that you wouldn't be winning? And he goes, well, I'll be honest, we don't, but there are a lot to do because they got to get paid. They don't care about the outcome. I said, well, the difference is, how do you feel when you lose or when you don't win? He goes, well, I don't like it. I said, well, here's the difference. You still get paid. We don't sell the house. We don't get paid. People like to waste our time. And one of the things that when I was talking on the podcast with Maria is the more you say no to things, the more chance you have yes for things. Because if your schedule's full with yeses for things that aren't the things that you want to do, whether it's working out, whether it's doing the things for yourself, whether it's working with your clients, whether it's making your calls that you're supposed to be making, things like that, you don't have room to say yes for the opportunities that are there. And the universe isn't going to send it to you either. You can believe or not believe that there is a power out there. There's a freaking power out there, whether you believe it or not. Energy attracts energy. Deadness attracts deadness. So I know it's a little vague in what I'm saying, but we can preach to the choir. You can make your calendar full of to-dos, but if you don't do it, it doesn't do anything. Once you realize your pain and your purpose is there, fight like you literally have to replace a family member's organ for $100,000 at the end of the month. And you will ultimately fight and do everything you can every waking hour. Jeffrey Itzer, we all had a chance to see him at EXPCon last year, had a great line. He goes, stop watching the clock and do the damn work. Your work's done when you get done. If it's at 1 o'clock, go hit golf balls, take a walk, go write some notes to your loved ones, some family, some friends, whatever it might be. But if you get done at 8 o'clock because you're dilly-dallying, that's your fault. Because if we all spend 40 hours a week doing what we're supposed to be doing, belly to belly, buyers, sellers, working on our business and negotiating contracts, we will have as much money as the sky is blue on a non-cloudy day. I know this is preaching from the old guy at a group, but guess what, guys? After 36 freaking years in this business, it doesn't get any easier. It's not any more fun, but we're picked a product. If you don't like the product, go sell something else. But the point is, you got to go to work. If you're working for somebody else, they're going to be accountable on your time. So right now you have a business, and what business can you open for under $2,000 and make over $100,000? And literally, if you really worked at it, do it in a month and take 11 months off. So I'm not sure if that's really the answer that we're looking for, but you can time block all you want, but learn to say no to people and say yes to opportunities and say no to wasting time and not getting paid. There's a great story going back again. I know I tell analogies all the time. There's a guy by the name of Howard Britton. Some of you guys may remember him, new Star Power. There's a farmer and he comes into the bar and he sits his pig down at the table at the bar and he goes, I'll bet you a beer that this pig will jump on its hind legs, turn around on its hind legs and spin around. And the bartender's like, all right, I'll bet you. So he clicked his fingers, pig jumped down, spun around, stood back up, and he gave him a beer. And he goes, I bet you can't do that again. So he did it again. Bottom line came down to it. He goes, how long did it take you to teach that pig to do that? The farmer turned around to the bartender, what's time to a pig? So next time you're wasting time, remember this sound I'm going to make. Oink. Are you wasting time or not? What's time to a pig? Nothing. So there you go. There's my
Good
philosophy.
stuff.
No, it's not bullet point, but man, what's time to a pig? We waste bullshit, whatever. So there's my story. That's all I got.
I like it. No, listen, what you said there is exactly right, is that if you have nothing else to do, start working, right? And one thing we're going to talk about, and everyone's going to go through this here today, and we're going to have some awesome tips. We always do, right? But one thing that is going to be left out is everybody that's giving you tips here on this panel today is extremely busy, you guys. Most of us have been doing this for 10 plus years. We have a whole book of business. We're able to continue and we can fill out our days. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm really tired because I had had so much work in this past week. I've been up till 2 a.m. working, not because I have time blocking issues, but because I have the work that needs to get done. I'm a perfect example of that. So Gary, I want you to take off from here. I know you got to go here in a few minutes. Gary, take it over. Tell us, work with what kind of Craig said, build on that a little bit. I mean, obviously saying no is incredible. It gives you more time to focus. It gives you more time to build. It gives you more time to grow in the direction that you are deciding to grow rather than always be reactive to everyone else, which that's the biggest time sink there is. When you're always reacting, you guys, and you can't plan and build, it takes up all your time. Gary, take it over.
Yeah, and I mean, just to kind of start from building on that, I think that, all of us in real estate have seen the real estate roller coaster analogy, right? So you get really, really busy. And again, I really hate that word, but I'm going to use it because we all understand it. But you get really busy in the reactive sense, right? So you start by you're building, like maybe you have no business or you're slower. So you're building. And then the clientele comes in, and you're reacting to that with showings, writing offers, negotiations, etc. But yet you're not taking the time to continue to build and or restack your pipeline, and then you're kind of coming down and having to pump the well again when you get back into that low time. The only way to protect that is making sure that you're doing the activities balanced between working in the business and working on the business, right? So my time blocking starts like on the Sunday and or night before each day. And so for me, and what I found is most helpful is that trying to block your mornings for like lead generation and those other activities like negotiations, that the high dollar value activities, and saving the afternoon for either your building your like doing your social media or writing out the new business plan or whatever that is that you're trying to build over time and then put into implementation. Save that in the appointments for the afternoon. And so where was I going with that? Oh, so sorry. So we're getting into like the Sunday planner, which I'm a firm believer of, right? I've got my planner book that I outline. I probably spend about an hour or 2 hours on a Sunday outlining everything that needs to get done from, into this next week. And I also evaluate what didn't get done into last week. Because again, sometimes things come up. We don't get to get everything done that we want to, and we have to prioritize. But then building out the time blocking throughout the week of my mornings, there's protected timeframes. When am I calling my clients? When am I doing my lead generation? That goes, in my 9 to 11 block. When am I negotiating or, responding to my sellers? That's typically either, early 6 a.m. in the morning or before lunchtime. So knowing what you're doing when, you can also set up your clients to set the expectations of when you're going to be responding to certain things. So they're not calling you during those times of, when you're supposed to be doing something else like lead generation, right? So a few productivity hacks is that, again, Craig said this, we can fill our to-do list with a bunch of stuff each day, right? But if there's one thing that has to get done that day, sometimes we can't control, all the information and the phone calls and the shit storms that come up. But if there's one thing each day that has to get done, make sure that that's time blocked for. And like Craig said, protect it like you have to pay $100,000 to provide an organ to your family member later on. So that's the one thing. The 2-minute rule, as things come in, that may seem or may even be really important. If it takes less than 2 minutes, just respond to it, get it done, get it out of the way. If it's more than 2 minutes, definitely either delegate it or set it aside for later during during your time. What I also found in time blocking, one of my biggest mistakes that I've made in the past that caused me not to be able to complete everything on my time block was I was blocking everything back to back. Each hour and each minute of each day was blocked for something, and one thing would lead into the next. I forgot to schedule my lunchtime. Like we need to take a break and eat and get nutrition. So even things as simple as that, go onto the time blocking from your morning routine, whether that's workout, meditation, whatever that is for you, to your lunchtime. But also, you can do 30 or 60-minute intervals and then schedule your time 15 minutes for transition and or for some sort of like just reset so you can get into the next activity and be focused. Batching also is a concept that like I had to learn and stay focused on, but found really helpful. For instance, like on Tuesdays and or Fridays maybe is your day for doing content creation. So then block 2 or 3 hours and get all of that done during that particular period of time, as opposed to trying to spread that out throughout the week where you can get interrupted and have to go back and forth. The only other thing that I want to add here, I mean, we talked about delegation, in many other meetings, but understanding where the high dollar activities are versus, what you can delegate to somebody else at a much lower cost. Again, we have to just release that, the idea that we have to do everything and we do it the best, because quite frankly, we don't. Understand what you're best at and where you're generating the most dollars per hour and delegate everything else.
So Gary, what are your high dollar activities?
Yeah. Negotiations and lead generation. Those are really the two.
How are you generating your leads?
Phone calls mainly, and we're not doing as much internet lead generation and follow-up anymore. But again, like for me, I'm calling a lot right now. My main initiative is calling lists of 2 to 4 unit property owners, right? So
Okay.
it's kind of like a B2B sale, but that takes me about an hour and a half to 2 hours each day, right? And
So
then
that is the foundation of your business today, right? Working with 2 to 4 unit business owners. Is that right?
that in my past clients in Sphere. So,
Yeah.
I do work in my past client in Sphere calls. I'm also setting about 2 to 3, appointments with them, per week, just kind of checking in, getting in front of people, and developing those relationships. But yeah, the rest of them right now are mainly 2 to 4 unit or multiple property owners.
Amazing.
And
That's really cool.
That's a great question you asked there, Ross, because my kind of follow up to what Gary was saying there is, we all have kind of a separate problem. Is some of us are too busy, right? So we're trying to get time back. And then some of us are not busy enough. So we're having to make time so that we can go out and prospect. And Gary, what you were saying there with, you're prospecting and you're spending your time for money, so to speak, by doing the work, getting the prospecting, that is your main focus. Because as agents, you guys, you got to keep in mind, we are in the lead generation business. If you are not spending the majority of your time every single day in lead generation, you are simply going to get left behind. And Ross, that was a fantastic question, man.
Well, I think the key is real quick I think what agents are missing is that they're spending time lead generation with no plan. Gary knows
Yes.
exactly who he wants to contact every day, and he's contacting those people with a plan, which are going to lead to his contract negotiations, which are going to lead to sales. So Gary has an established plan, not because he's an established realtor, but because he has a business plan to go into his business. So Gary, if you just said, all right, I'm going to cold call today on houses between 800 and 1.2, and then on Tuesday you're going to cold call on $3 to $4 million homes, and then on Wednesday you're going to call people in LA because maybe there's a sale there. I'm not getting any traction here in San Diego. Where would that put your business, right? You'd be all over the map. You have a defined plan, and you structure your day to reach those people that you have a niche for. That's what I'm hearing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you're really
gotta
good
keep
at
it
it.
focused.
So that's
Otherwise,
awesome.
otherwise you get lost, right?
That's
Like,
the
Yeah,
key. Is what you
absolutely.
just said there, Ross, is he's really good at it. So targeting, because he knows the B2B side, right? He knows being able to go after those multiple units, multi-unit properties. You want to play to your strengths. You always want to be doing stuff that you're good at. Maybe you're not good at content creation. Maybe it takes you 6 hours to edit a video. Well, don't spend 6 hours when you can spend 6 hours doing the stuff that you're good at, which also, you guys, is going to be a big part. And Ross, I'm going to jump to you next, buddy, because you're the busiest of all of us here. And you're going to have the best time blocking management of everyone. But you don't want to be doing stuff you're not good at typically, because you're not going to want to do it. And your effort is going to come from how hard you work. The results will come from how hard you work. But typically, how hard you work is going to be based on how hard you want to work it. Now, some of us, and especially you, Ross, I know you've learned that you just work as hard as freaking possible. You put your whole soul into it, man, and it works. And that's why you're so successful. I mean, shoot, that's why you're the busiest here on the channel. So going to you now, tell us more about your time management and your productivity with that time. Just build off what Gary was saying, like we were doing. But I mean, Ross, everybody listen, Ross is the man right now. He is growing something that's bigger than we could even all dream. And he's done it so quickly because of his time management, his delegation, his ability to scale with a system. So tell us more about that.
Well, thanks, Cam. I don't think that's true, but I appreciate it. I'll give you $20 later. Defining your path, right? So I heard Craig talking about he's got a radio show, he's got his TV ads, he has all these different ways to make himself the mayor of Philly, right? Like, I've been getting to know Lurchy a lot lately, and everyone knows who he is because he's got a huge personality and he's using that to his advantage. He has a plan to go and reach people where they're at and show off who he is. Gary is more of a business model. He knows that space. He's attacking those people every day, offering his excellent services. He has a plan. So he has an ability to structure his day, right? It's not about being busy. It's about being laser focused on what it is that you want to accomplish. What I found early in my career is that I liked internet leads. So everything that I've been doing for the past 2 years, because I would get tossed around, I was in production, I was kind of tossed wherever the market would take me because it was a good market all around and there was opportunity wherever you put yourself. If I had spent that time being laser focused and understanding what a true sustainable business looked like, I would be in a different place today. I think it'd be more established. I think anybody can say that as they test and retest in the market and try to build something. But the reason why I found my niche is because I decided this works for me. What am I going to do every day to make it work better for me? And then how am I going to make it work better for the people that I can surround myself with, that delegation, that growth. And so if you can define who you want to be as a person and then define who you want to be in your business, your day can really take shape rather quickly. And this is if you're brand new, you've never sold a house in your life, or if you're a seasoned agent, you're kind of reliving your first year of real estate every year, not making any progress because you're just getting tossed around, right? Like the biggest example I've seen, I already said it, is people wake up one morning, they're like, I don't cold call. That guy over there, he cold calls and he's a millionaire. I'm going to cold call today. You call 6 people and you're like, I'm not cold calling again. And then you get a wild hair 2 weeks later, you call another 6 people. What a waste of time. Yep. Don't do that. If you don't like it, don't do it. Cold calling is not for everyone. Whoever can cold call is a beast. They are a freak of nature, and I can't hold a candle to them. So like that is a specific skill that is, I think you're born with it, right? And you have to have the tenacity and the ability to get no after no after no, and then keep calling that person. So if that is your path, structure your day around it. I can speak to myself because I just know what I do every day. I define myself as a person. I want to be a man of God. I want to be a good husband, and I want to be a good father first. That's what I want to do first. So how do I structure my day? I wake up, before I touch anything else, I read my Bible, and that's what I like to do. That doesn't mean everyone has to do that, but that's what I do. I work on my relationship, like with Craig said, my higher power, my belief system, because at my core, that's who I am. Number 2, I want to be a good husband. I want to spend time with my wife. So I block time during my day, during my week, We have specific date nights. I want to make sure I'm ordering her flowers. Like those are things that I'm like not a hopeless romantic. I am a man of structure. So I need to schedule that in so I remember. Otherwise, I'll get too busy and not pay attention to the little things. Little things matter. I want to be a good father. After I read my Bible in the morning, I hit the gym. My 12-year-old son's in there with me. We're having conversation. I'm building into him. After I take him to school, after his workout, I take my daughters to school. I'm speaking to them. There's no music on. There's nothing on. I am building into my daughters because their development is one of the top 3 things in my life. That's what's important to me. Once that's done, I'm here. And what am I doing? I'm worried only about growing opportunities for my team, which is my business. And I've decided I want to give team members the best opportunity possible. Now, if you're a listing agent, you want to develop the best opportunities possible for your sellers. If you're a buyer's agent, you want to develop the best opportunities for your buyers. What can you add? What activities can you do to show off your value so somebody will choose you in their business? So I'm taking demos every single day because technology is moving way too fast. I implemented this tech stack 6 months ago. Sorry, I can't talk. 6 months ago, I built this great tech stack. I thought, this is going to last me. I'm already having to replace things. Like I'm going to have to do a redo because it's moving so fast. And if you're not staying up on the business, whether it's technology, whether it's your skills, you always have to be growing and learning and morphing. Otherwise, you'll be out of date really quickly. I think the days of the person who can own an area will kind of die with like that older generation because now we're one faster generation. I want to see stuff on my phone. Like, why aren't you doing it? I'm talking to myself here. Why aren't you doing more social media? Why aren't you doing these things where you can meet people exactly where they're at? It's so easy. The model's easy. All I gotta do is ask ChatGPT how to be a better real estate agent. It's gonna give me 17,000 pages of why I suck and what I can do better. These are all things that we can do simply, plan our day, time block it according to what our activities are that we like and who we want to be as a person, and that leads to success in general. So sorry for the long-winded answer, but this is really important to me. I think if anyone could implement that, that brings a lot of life into their business and their life.
That was huge, you guys. That's really, really big. And you're not long-winded. We're going to go a couple times, you guys. So don't worry. There's only 5 of us on today, so we can be a little bit longer-winded. That answer, though, was perfect. Is you need to continuously be doing everything you can in your personal life and in your business life. Because as I kind of said right before he started there, right before Ross took over, if you're not mentally in the game, if you're not ready to go set the world on fire, you're not ready to go take over and continue to build your skill set and your market share and your business, you're not going to. You're only going to do what you're intended and what you wake up and set out to do every single day. One thing you mentioned there was kind of funny. You're like, why am I not doing more social media, right? Or why am I not doing this? Why not just do everything, you guys, right? Let's do it. Well, the truth is that we run out of time, energy, and steam. And that is where it's so important to have the system to delegate. So maybe you do run out of time for social media, or maybe you don't want to sit and edit videos, or maybe you don't want to, maybe you don't want to cold call and prospect. Maybe that's not your thing. You need to spend time though to find somebody that will, because that is how you have a complete business. And that was a really great point there, Ross. I love that. You're right. You just got to keep adding, keep building, growing your skill set, growing your opportunities. And then if you take what Lurch said there at the start, you guys, when you have bad opportunities or when you have people that come in that want to take your time and energy, you have to tell them no so you can stay focused on your path. All right, Dennis, you're next, buddy. Now you have obviously been the growth for a lot of us. We have all worked with you and talked with you a lot. You have incredible wisdom with coming to time management and business savvy. So give us your reactions. Let's talk about reactions first and then build into what you kind of want to talk about. Give us your reaction to what Ross and Gary and Craig were saying there.
Oh, I mean, all great stuff, right? I mean, I love all the God-centric stuff, Ross. I love that, man. Masa, Lurch, always giving a lot. You guys are legends in this business, and it's just fantastic. You guys can just re-listen to that. Calendar stuff, guys. I learned this a long time ago from Brian Moses, and he probably got it from somebody else. You have big rocks and you have little rocks, okay? In your calendar, big rocks is the important stuff, prospecting, database, all that kind of stuff. What I do for my big rocks, you guys, is I put exclamation points in front of it and I color code it differently. I use Apple for my calendar. You could use Google, whatever you use. But first off, make sure you have some kind of calendar, right? If I don't have a calendar and it doesn't go in there, I'm getting too old or I forget stuff. So if it's not there, it doesn't exist. So big rocks, I color code green, not red. Everything else is red. Small rocks are red. Big rocks are green. Big rocks have to get done every single day. Okay, no matter what. Now, one thing we tend to do is we tend to, when we have a calendar set up like that, including me, we tend to focus on the little rocks, right? Because they're easy. Oh, get a haircut. Switch your electric bill. Do little crap that really doesn't matter for your business. We tend to focus on that, and then at the end of the day, it's like, well, we got 5 big rocks. Let's just push those till tomorrow. So don't do that, right? Focus on the big rocks. Touch it once is a good way to think about it. Touch it once, just do it. Don't get off of it, okay? There's 2 books that kind of impacted me pretty well. One was Brian Tracy. It was called Eat That Frog. Don't know if you guys have read that before.
I was just
Great
looking
book,
that up,
right?
you guys.
Oh, Eat That Frog. I mean, it's like the frog is, whether it be cold calling, which I don't do, calling a prospect, anything like that. Sometimes that's the big rocks, right? Usually the big rocks are eat that frog. It's like, just eat it. It's not going to taste good. It's going to be a gross tasting frog, but got some protein in it, right? You're going to grow from it. So that's one. The other one is, I think it's Mel Robbins. It's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. The 5-second rule. That one really helped me a lot when it goes to calling people. So sometimes okay, I'm not going to call them. I'll call them in an hour after I go to lunch. You're always making these excuses of not to do it. So just do it. Just do it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, and just dial. Just go. Right. So that book's good too. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Eat That Frog. 2 books that are good. The other day I'm in my office and I had to make a call to a seller lead, and I just didn't have the energy. Like I was just kind of too much coffee, too much sugar, whatever. I was just kind of dragging ass. Okay. So what I did is I know energy creates energy. So I got up in my office and I did jumping jacks for 1 minute. And you know what? As soon as I did that, my whole energy changed. I sat down, called them, and got the appointment. So, little tips like that. So, get a calendar, big rocks, little rocks. Make sure you focus on the big rocks. They're tougher, but focus on them. Okay. Those 2 books, Eat That Frog, the 5-second rule, move your body, jumping jacks, dance, whatever you need to do. I don't care. This isn't working out. This is just getting your body in motion, right? So if you don't want to make that call, get up, just move around, take a walk around your office, do 5 laps, go back, sit down, and then make the call. Okay. So you'll find it's amazing how when you just move your body, your energy just shifts completely. I think that's all I have right now.
That was a good one. No, that was a really strong one.
Yep.
And the reason that was so strong, you guys, is most of us, or I would say most people in general, right? You start off your day by doing what? Wake up, kind of stumble around the house, maybe let the dog out, make a cup of coffee. You're not structured. You're not waking the morning up and you're not ready to take off and go somewhere today. If you're not structuring those first hour of your day, you're wasting the most valuable part of your day. And you're also not only wasting time, but you're putting yourself behind. You're feeling like your day's already catching up to you. You're losing ground and the world is coming around you rather than you being able to set up and really have that, the mindset that you are going to be able to hit all of those big frogs. You're going to be able to eat that frog today. You're going to be able to do things that you don't think are possible. Opportunities will come to you when you are in the mindset and you're doing the things like Ross was saying. Every day he's doing opportunities. Every day he's doing demos, right? That's because he's in the mindset that he starts it off as soon as he wakes up. He's in the growth mindset that he wants to make himself better, then he wants to make his kids better, then he wants to make his business better, then he wants to make his clients better. Are you guys following me here? How many of you every single day really are starting off the day trying to figure out, how can I make every single person around me better? And that's even gonna make my life better. Most of us, and I'm talking to myself here, most of us are waking up and we're kind of being lazy. We're, it's 6:30 and we're kind of drowsy, and you get your coffee and you do your things instead of waking up and having the plan to succeed. And I mean, that's the difference, you guys. That is truly the difference between having a growing, successful business and having a business that's going to slowly die. Is that if you are not staying on top of it, the world will eat you up these days. It's a tough, tough business. And as the markets continue moving, you need to do even more. Now, like I said, I want to do a couple rounds because I know we have a little bit more time today with only 5 of us. But the things I really wanted to bring up is that in our business here, there's really 2 different ways that you can approach every single day. And one of them is proactive, which is what we're talking about, right? That's what we're preaching here this morning or this afternoon is proactive. And then there's reactive, right? You react to every single thing that you have coming up. Problems pop up and oh my God, they're huge issues. And that's a reactive mindset. When you can start building into your life, and not just your business, but your life, a proactive mindset where you are able to focus on, like I think Ross was saying there, right? The goal, where are you actually trying to get at the end of the week? You are going to be able to start changing your daily habits, which then will change your mindset. One thing that I know I've talked about a bunch, and I'm going to bring it up again real quick, is our blog book. This is why I built this, you guys, is because everyone has this exact same problem. If you're on the call right now and you're like, man, this kind of sounds like me. I wake up and I have my coffee and I'm not proactive. It's because you don't have a schedule. You might have a calendar, but you don't actually have a schedule. So that's why I built this book. And if you can see, it's going to be real quick. It's targets, it's positive affirmations, it's everything we're talking about in this call. And you can log it right here. And not everybody needs that. You can do this with a piece of paper, you guys. This is just a cheat sheet that we put together so I can give it away to people. And we're actually running a sale on it for $5.99, $5, $6 total for this book. It's on Amazon right now. You can look up the Next Gen Workbook.
And Cam, can I jump in on that? That thing,
yeah, go ahead, Ross.
Awesome,
of course, buddy.
And what's so cool about what Cam created there is instead of just having a loose piece of paper or something like that, that's something you can go back. I have like 12 of those stacked up for 12 years in a row of me booking business like that. And it's so fun because on Cam's thing, there talked about today's goals, and it probably has goal setting structures in it also, right? So you go back, and how fun is it, Cam, to go back to year 1 of real estate and look at your goals and being like,
I'm going to show you.
wow.
Hold on. That's a great point. Hold on, guys. And this is how serious this is, everyone. I'm going to show you what the last couple of years looked like before I made my book. This is why I made my book, you guys. Here they are. And the reason I have them readily available is because I look through them every once in a while. And this is this is our lives. These are our businesses. So keep going, Ross. Sorry.
Oh, no. How fun is that, though, to go through those and see where your head was at that time in your life and see the growth? Because as you're carving your path, if you don't take time to look back and see where you came from and all the strides you've made, it's so easy to get defeated, right? So that's a great tool to be able to look back and see like, wow, look at how far I've come since that last time. But if you're just doing it on loose pieces of paper, not really journaling your path, then you have no reference point, and then it's easy to get overwhelmed. So anyway, I just want to chime in on that. That's fantastic stuff, Cam.
Great point there, Ross. And I appreciate you bringing that up because that actually was going to lead into my next point there, which is there's 2 ways to do journaling or time blocking or whatever you want to call this. I'm going to call it time blocking. One of them is proactive and one of them is reactive. But when you're growing your business and you're growing, like Ross was saying, and like I was saying, we have all these past notes and all these notebooks. There's 2 ways to do this, okay? You can proactively do it, which is what most of us on this call, I think all of us on this call probably are very proactive, where we want to know from 9 to 10 tomorrow, I'm going to be doing this one action. And then because I have something I need to do at 11, from 11 to 1, I need to be doing this action. And then appointment times are, so forth and so forth. So you're actually scheduling in exactly what you're going to do every single day before that day even happens. You're pre-scheduling, you're proactive. That is a great system, and it's how we recommend all of our team leads to work once they are, let's say, on tier 2 of their business, when they're busy, when they're really busy, more busy than they actually have time to successfully get through every single day. Now, for a lot of agents, especially newer agents or solo agents that, you do an hour's worth of work and you've completed the day and you feel like you're able to just take the rest of the day off because you don't have that system or you don't have that plan of things that you need to be doing those money-making activities. You just simply don't know what to be doing. So what I do for folks that are in that situation, folks that, need to build out more money-making activities, that need to be doing more prospecting or more reaching out or finding more opportunities to have people that will work with them, that will do that prospecting. Either way, it's okay if you don't want to be doing the cold calling, that's okay, but you need to be doing some type of money-making activity. So for those folks, I actually like doing it a little bit differently for like the first 3 to 4 months, where I call it time recording. So every 30 minutes after you are done with that 30 minutes of work, you record your time. And after 8 hours a day, and you do this for 7 days, what you'll find out, you guys, is you're not working hard enough. That's just the truth. You're not spending a full workday of 4, 5, 6 hours doing activities that will actually move your business forward, that is going to help you grow your business, that is going to be able to give you more opportunities. Because simply the truth is, for most of us, for most agents that are solo agents, after you do, your email follow-up, you got a couple of voicemails you got to reply to. If you're not prospecting, the day's done. Heck, like Craig was saying, go hit some golf balls, go outside, get on the boat, go do something fun. Well, that sounds all good and dandy as long as you got $1 million in your bank account. The trouble is that most agents, they end up in that situation at like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and their bank accounts are at $250, $500. They're struggling and they don't know exactly where to put their time. And I think for agents, if you're feeling that, if you're one of those agents that you feel like you don't have enough stuff to do, start doing some time recording every 30 minutes for a week. Just write down what you did for the last 30 minutes. Be honest with yourself. If you cheat this, you guys, you're cheating yourself. You're cheating your business. You're cheating your life. But if you do it honestly, you're going to find there's so much time for you to build out those money-making activities. And then you're going to get busier. You're going to have more opportunities that pop up. Then you're going to have to start saying no to people because you're going to be too busy, which that's when you switch over to what we call the time blocking stage, where then you start putting in, more guidelines so that you're not wasting your time frivolously doing things that aren't money-making activities. And it can happen in both ways. It's that's part of the growth of this business, is that you start off not busy enough, then you get too busy, then you start becoming management, and then the income does, it changes. And that's the amazing part, you guys, is that you're able to grow, you're able to change. But if you don't have a log, or you don't have a way to look back on your past, one, it's extremely hard to get motivated when you run out of steam. And two, you're not going to be able to do what Ross was just saying and see those deficiencies, see those things that you could have done better, and that you're now rebuilding that bad boy from the ground up because you saw what you did wrong. And that's the cool part, you guys. We are continually growing. We're continually building. And as you can see, I'm super passionate about this. This is how everyone that I know has success, because it's truly about changing your life from a reactive lifestyle where you wake up and you're on the, on the rope, so to speak, and Muhammad Ali's just beating the hell out of you because life is like that. Well, you can turn into Mike Frazier and turn that bad boy around and get bigger. And how you get bigger is setting up a plan, working that plan, and then recording the plan so you can continually grow from it. Craig, I wanted to jump back to you, buddy. We've talked about a lot here. What are your thoughts on all this?
I'm going to throw what Dennis said, eating the frog. If you don't want to eat the frog, some of us guys aren't that good looking. There's a lot of, girls you got to kiss to find your princess and stuff like that. So, you know what? Pretend you're kissing the frog. I mean, you never know what that frog's going to become. You never know. Stop being in judgment. Live in curiosity. Ross and I had a conversation on some things yesterday. We're both in this growth pattern with TV and all this stuff, but we still have our own personal bullshit, excuse the expression, that gets involved in life. And you just got to shake it off. It's like a dog shaking off the mud. Is it fun? No, you got to go shake it off, give him a bath, and do all that stuff. And change isn't good. What it does is it puts you in a pissed off position. And you notice you sometimes fight more when you're pissed off.
Always.
You're going to come out of that corner swinging. Get pissed off. Get pissed off that somebody's wasting your time. Get pissed off that the deal died. Get pissed off that you can't replace the time that somebody stole for you. We just had a bunch of deals die, and the challenge comes in is, I can't replace that time. What would I have done in that time that I could have done? Well, self-analyze. I don't know. We go through, we get pissed off, and we clean it up and say, I'm not doing that again. I'm not doing that again. Behavior never lies. The same actions create the same response all the time where it's at. So the frog thing is fantastic, and get pissed off that you're not where you want to be. We talked about this. You're probably far beyond what your 18-year-old thought you would be when you were 18. Stop thinking like an 18-year-old and start thinking like a pissed off end of the cycle, that you're in your last third and you didn't get anywhere. Get pissed the freak off, and you're going to see how fast and how well you work and learn in that factor. We can sit here and, preach to you all you want. This isn't church. like Ross said, if he's not picking up and living, you got to live it. You can read it, but you got to live it. And that comes in here. When you're willing to do that, that's when you're going to see your business do this. This is bullshit. This is doing the work. So that's, you know, that's kind of where I was.
Greg Lurch coming with the Philly style there, right? And that's the truth, you guys. You got to get going.
Come on, man. Hold on. You know what? We had this TV thing coming out. One of the interviews, and I sent it to Ross. You all see it later on time. But one of the guys, very, very successful guys, just got an offer from Uber Eats for $10 million to be his exclusive. 4 years ago, he had change. He was a pizza cheesesteak guy. He got an attitude that all he was going to do is take care of people, have fun, and surround himself with good people. He took bread and put more meat and more cheese than everybody else and started making it fun and was not. And guess what? He goes, I'm not doing it this time, but I seem to be very good at 56 years old going broke every 7 years. And he says it on there. And he says, this is crazy. I'm not doing it this time. Talk to Alan Dom, who is worth over $1 billion on this thing. And he's the money side behind and partners with Steven Star Restaurants. Went from 0 restaurants because he owned a building and convinced Steven to put a restaurant there. Has 72 of them now in his spaces. But here's the deal that he said. I said, Alan, let's tell.
Oh, did we lose you there, Craig?
Where you started. What did you do? He goes, I was a lot. What?
Oh, nope. Sorry. That was my end. I'm sorry, guys. Say that one more time for you.
No, all good. Alan Dom. Bottom line comes down to this. He was getting paid $15,000 a year, and he was commuting an hour and a half to come to Philadelphia to do locks because he could do more locks in a day than he could being out in North Jersey in a suburb. So look what he built. And he's had his time. Just do it. Have your passion, have your vision, and figure out how to do it. That's the key point. But these are very successful guys. They've lost it. They've started it. They lost it. They started it. But they didn't stop. They didn't stop. And that's the problem. You know, somebody asked, are we losing deals in this market? Shit, yeah. You know why? Because buyers are shitheads. Other agents are shitheads. And the story. And the story. You can't fix other agents. Unfortunately, they're in the business. I can't wait for the other 350,000 of them to get the freak out of the business. They're wasting time and wasting our space. But yeah, we're going to lose deals, and that's part of it. But guess what? It's also, are we going to say no to working with some of these people too? So
listen, you guys, it's only going to get more challenging from here. Like I said, I've been saying this for like 3 years now or 2 years that our market shifted really quickly and everyone else is going to catch up. And I personally went through it. I mean, I felt it. I think I talked about this here a few weeks ago that I had a little bit of, let's call it depression. Because every deal I had to sell 3 frickin' times because the buyers would walk for no frickin' reason, man. It was like, I can't do anything right. And it truly felt like it was my fault for my team members and for me. And I was taking the blame because I felt like I couldn't control what was going on in the markets. And that's going to happen. That's going to happen. But you need to make sure, and I'm just going around in circles here a little bit, that you have that long-term plan. You know, 3 or 4 days ago, Jimmy Donaldson, which most of you guys don't know, well, you do. His name's Mr. Beast. He's got 400 million subscribers, okay? But no one knows his name's Jimmy. Jimmy Donaldson posted a video 10 years ago that he hit on his YouTube channel. I hope some of you guys might have seen these. That said, this is where I'm going to be in 10 years. He said he wanted 1 million subscribers. Yeah, obviously, he shot real small, and he's got 400 million subscribers on YouTube. But 10 years ago, as a 16-year-old, Jimmy knew exactly where he wanted to go. He had a goal, a plan, and a vision, and he didn't stop working that until it became fruition, you guys. As agents and as this is our careers, this is our business, you don't have a second opportunity. You need to make this work. You need to put in your nose. You need to do the work, get pissed off, like Craig was saying, and change your life. Everyone can do it. I've done it. Ross has done it. Everybody on this panel has done it. You have that same opportunity. The difference is are you going to make it happen or are you going to blame everyone else because it's not happening for you? And that's the big thing. Matt, it's good to see you, buddy. Haven't seen you in a few weeks.
Hey guys. Yeah.
So we're talking about time management, time blocking, and using the opportunities that you can grow out of time to build your business. So we're really just talking about time management. But chime in. I'd love to hear how
well,
the surf
I would
dude's
say
doing.
the bottom line is you've just got to be, especially when the market is challenging, you've got to constantly be focused on generating new business, which I guess goes without saying, but I think a lot of us tend to get kind of in the weeds, where you're doing things that are not, what I would call rainmaking activities. When I wake up in the middle of the night and if I can't sleep, all I'm thinking about is how can I generate new business tomorrow? How can I generate new business this week? How can I get a listing or a buyer into contract, et cetera? So, we're in the lead gen business, and we've constantly got to be focused on lead generation. That's the business that we're in. I mean, that's as simple as I can put it. So, that needs to be your focus. And if, this time of the year, I always find I like this time of the year in a way, because the market slows down, less people, especially as we get into November, less people are thinking about, listing their homes or buying homes this time of year. So it gives you time to plan what you're going to do over the next year, right? And you've got to get all that in place in November, December, so that you hit the ground running in January, right? So I think, right now, if you don't have, a bunch of listings going into contract, a bunch of buyers that you're working on, your time is really well spent to be planning, putting in place all of your marketing. And what I always say is that your marketing needs to be on autopilot. So if you don't have it on autopilot and you're responsible to be putting out new, whatever it is, mailers, whatever type of lead gen you're doing, once you get busy, you don't have the time to do it. And it doesn't happen. And then guess what? Before you know it, it's going to be March and April, and you don't have any critical mass going in your business. So this is a really good time of the year to figure out what is it you're going to do to generate business in 2026. What's your budget? What's the best use of that budget? And whatever your budget is, it's got to be a budget that you can afford on a monthly basis to spend all year long. So, I know Ross, for example, spends a ton of time building, researching stuff for his team, his tech stack, their lead gen, their follow-up, their conversion. And so everybody that's on Ross's team, you all benefit from that. But, that's the business that we're in. And I was kind of mentoring a young guy yesterday, and I was telling him that, you don't have to come up with necessarily a new concept, right? You can everybody copies and steals from everybody. I go on some agents' websites, and it looks exactly every single program that I've offered over the years they offer, but I didn't make up most of those programs. I copied them from other people. So, imitation is the greatest form of flattery, right? So, look at the most successful people in your market or in other markets and figure out what they are doing. I mean, that's exactly what I did when I got into the business 25 years ago. I looked at who were the most successful people, like, Dennis D'Souza. I think when I got in the business, Dennis had already been in the business for 25 years. So he was super, just kidding. No, but he had been in the business a few years and he was already very successful. And so I looked at people like him and other agents that were successful and said, what are they doing? And I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to, and everybody on this call can do that. But your day needs to be spent doing lead gen, doing lead conversion, doing lead follow-up. And if you don't have any leads, you need to be doing things that will generate leads. And if you don't have any budget to spend, and I've heard Dennis say this, for example, when he and Pete first came out here to San Diego and got in the business, they just did open houses constantly. If you think about it, we spend so much time and money generating leads that, and then trying to follow up with those leads. And what are you trying to do? You're trying to get in front of a human being that wants to buy or sell. When you do an open house, those people are literally walking in off the street. And so it's the most antiquated, thing in real estate, open houses, but guess what? They still work and they don't cost anything. And you can do them not just on Saturday and Sunday, but you can do them 7 days a week. Especially, you know, in a vacant home, you can sit there with your laptop, use your phone as a hotspot. And when people come in the door, you're on stage. Your job is to win them over. You know, I remember hearing Brent Gove when he was doing his course on, what was it, open houses on steroids or whatever. Even when somebody would say, well, yeah, we are working with an agent. And Brent would say something like, well, there's no rule that says you can't work with two, right? If I find you a great property, would you work with me? And they go, yeah, of course. Boom. So, you know, I think you're right, Cam, that the market, you know, what started in Florida for you a year ago is going to probably spread out around the country. It's usually the way it works. But the good news is a lot of agents will get out of the business like Lurchy's hoping for. And so those of us who are willing to work and be persistent and be creative will benefit from a down market.
Definitely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And you know, you kind of reiterated what we've been talking about. It's fun that you jumped in a little bit late there because you've really cemented all those ideas we were talking about earlier of make sure that you are planning, right? That's what you're talking about, planning ahead your marketing for this upcoming year. But what you're doing there is you're being proactive. You're not going to back up and get to the ropes and wait for the guy to hit you. No, you're setting it up so you know exactly what you're going to do. You know exactly how it costs. You know exactly what you expect the returns to be. And you are proactive with your business for the whole year. Now, remember, guys, or not, and gals, everybody here on this call today, and anyone watching the recording, remember, we are at T-minus 84 right now. There's 84 days left in this year. The new year starts in 84 days. It is time to get you in fifth gear, wide open. You need to be going as fast as you can so that when January 1st, 2026 hits, your business isn't slowed down. And even, Matt, like you said, our market down here started slowing down in November of 23. I can give you the exact date. It's evident. But you know what?
Mhm.
That's okay. That's totally okay. Because you pivot and you start doing the proactive things that work in different markets. It doesn't matter if it's a seller's market or a buyer's market, you guys. There is money-making activities that you can do every single minute of every single day that'll make you more successful. That turns Matts into Dennis's and makes Dennis's grow into, well, hold on, now we're going backwards. I was gonna say grow his business like Ross has done and grow it just, you know, incrementally and huge. If you are doing that every single day, you are planning to succeed. No plan, you're planning to fail. All right, Ross, I want to jump back to you.
And also, let me just
go
mention
ahead,
one
Matt.
other thing.
Cool.
Yeah, which is just that if you think about it, everybody that's planning to buy or sell in 2026, they know that they're planning. They already know that it's going to happen for the most part, with some exceptions. But in general, somebody that's planning on selling their house this spring, somebody's planning on buying a house this spring, they already know that that's what they're doing. So that's why now is a great time to reach out to them, get in front of them, you know, market to them, et cetera. So really important.
And also, you guys, we've talked about a few different techniques that you can use to do money-making activities on this call. But if none of these speak to you, maybe you're not want to do social media or direct marketing or phone prospecting. You're trying to find a more creative way to do it. Maybe you don't want to do open houses. Jump on any of the LLMs, ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever one you want to use, and just ask it to give you 15 different highly efficient prospecting methods for agents. And then you need to pick one. You just got to pick one right now. Now, if you're up in like us and you're doing 50, 70, 100 deals a year, you're going to have 3, 4, 5, 7, 10 of these going on. But if you're just, as Craig was saying, pissed off, if you're ready to take these 84 days and churn 2026 into a successful year, you just need one, you guys, just one. And yeah, I wanted to jump over to you, Ross. I wanted to let you close this out, man, because you have so much valuable stuff with the team and everything that you're doing growing. Give us your final thoughts.
Some final thoughts from me. Speaking of now the end of the year, everyone always comes up to me in January and be like, I have no business. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do it this year. It's because they did do what Matt said and spend the holidays planning for the new year. Everyone likes to take 2 months off here at the end of the year. And then they're wildly frustrated and curious why they don't have any business in January. So it's a constant thing. Like Matt said, I love it. And Matt has this wonderful magazine now that he almost doesn't pay a dime for because he's smart and he built a business model to where people sponsor the magazine to eliminate most, if not all, the costs. There are business models out there that don't cost you a dime. You just have to think out of the box and leverage relationships that you already have in your phone. I looked at my contacts. I have 4,500 contacts in my phone. I had no idea. It's a lot of people. Like, how many are in yours? How many are on your Facebook? How many are on your Instagram? You can reach out to build these, hey, I got this idea. And share it. People will back you. If you're going to back somebody, they're going to back you. You know, there's a lot of back scratching here in the real estate business. Be open to it. Final thought from me is I get a lot of calls from a lot of agents and they're like, man, this year it's just been hard, you know, and it's just been harder than a lot of years. And I'm like, you're right. Statistically, I learned when I was in Scottsdale, we had Jared James speaking. He's much smarter than me. He told me, not told me, he told the whole group, but I was listening. He said that 2024 was the least transactional year since 1995. And in 1995, there were 50 million less people in the United States than there were last year. Exponentially low transactional market. Exponentially low. That's why it's hard. But we're still here, right? You guys are still putting in the work. If you and price points now will take care of a lot of the lack of transactions. But I mean, if you're talking about 2008, 2009, you could still sell 50 homes a year as a relatively new agent because there's deals happening. Today, I feel you. Not a lot of transactions happening. They're scarce. They're few and far between. Make the most of your time because each one matters. And also it's the highest cancellation rate in history also. So it's a tough pairing, right? Low transactions, high cancellations, buyer sentiment is low. Each transaction needs your professional care built into it. Build out how you're going to handle your clients with white glove service, be hyper local, be excellent at what you do. Otherwise, people will find somebody else who will do it for them.
Mic drop, you guys. That's it. All right, so we're at the top of the hour. You guys are awesome. Thank you all for being on the panel. If you came this week, invite someone next week. Before we sign off here, each one of us, let's give everyone one lead gen activity that you would recommend in today's market. Craig, you go first. We're going to go Craig, Dennis, Ross, and Matt just to close this out. One lead gen activity, 10 seconds. Go.
Look for shoulder businesses that can give you more than one referral at a time.
Business to business. Great. Dennis.
Open houses. It's boring, but it works.
Get inside of open houses all day long. All right, Ross.
I'm biased. Join a team.
Join a team. Okay, join someone doing it bigger than you. Awesome.
Yeah.
Matt, one more.
I would say offering cash offers to sellers, to homeowners, because they're so conditioned about cash offers. That's a really great way to generate listing appointments.
Cash offers. And if your brokerage is like ours and they offer express offers, you have that program, get certified, get into it, start using it. Saying that you can give someone a cash offer is a foot in the door. That's all. That's what prospecting is about, you guys. All right. Thank you guys. You are all awesome. Invite somebody next week.
Thanks, Cameron.
I hope to see everyone here.
See you guys.
See you guys.
You guys. Good job, Cam. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, guys.